Hello guys, welcome to the second episode of Alternate Future of the World. A story that I haven't uploaded in a while. I just haven't got time to make videos. But now let's get into the video. So last time I forgot to color in Russia's alliance, the CSTO. So to color it in fully, and it wasn't in the thumbnail, so sorry about that, but I'm now going to color it in. And next we are going to look at a civil war. That civil war is going to be in Libya. This is predicted to happen soon. So let's start it now. So Libya is going to be in blue and the civilians are going to be in red. So now I'm going to color them in. So here they are. I know that the Sahara Desert is like over here. No, it's more north. The Sahara Desert is like this over here, but you know, there are still people living over here, and then the Nile River over here, and like this. I know about that, but there are still people living here for those that don't know. So now let's start the civil war. So many people know that Libya is probably soon going to split up. And here now they fall into a civil war. The blue is the main government and the red are the civilians that want to break away. So the civilians are gonna push around over here near the coast. But the Libyans are going to push back a bit. But the civilians overall have more support over here in the east, but the west, there isn't many people that want to rebel over here. So that's why there aren't many more like pockets of the country breaking away over here. That's why. So let's continue with the war. The civilians continue west and down into the Sahara Desert. The Libyans are setting up defenses on this front line. I mean, not as much over here because it's a desert, but a bit over here on this front line. And some armies over here. The civilians still haven't met the front line of defenses, but they're gonna meet it soon. And they eventually now meet it. And Libya lost most of their coast, so they're going to surrender. Let's now take a look at the peace treaty. Here's the peace treaty. So as you can see, the Libyans have been split into two different countries. This is the country, the new country that has been established from the civil war, and this is the old Libyan government. Now let's take a look at something else that is likely to happen in the future, and that is going to be the East African Federation uniting. So let's get rid of this border now. Here I have erased the borders, and the East African Federation is now united. And it's now one of the strongest countries in Africa, if not the strongest. But we all know Nigeria and Egypt, Ethiopia, Sudan, Algeria, and others. like South Africa too, how strong they are. So they're up there, just so you know. Now, let's take a look at something else. And that is going to be the unification between Belarus and Russia. So these two countries really like each other. The Belarusian government really likes the Russian government, and the Russian government really likes the Belarusian government. So it makes sense for them to unite. They even speak the same language. So yeah, they're going to unite. Something else that is going to happen is that NATO is going to update their policy, and that is that Article 5 not only goes for NATO members but NATO partners too. So Bosnia and Herzegovina is a NATO partner. Georgia is a NATO partner, and other countries are now going to be applying for a NATO partnership. Like Azerbaijan, they're really close with Turkey and with the West, kind of. So they're going to apply for a NATO partnership. That means I'm going to need to change the map, the alliance map. Here we now have the new alliance map with Azerbaijan and Georgia in as a NATO partner. Oh, and also I haven't colored in Armenia in red, but they're in the CSTO. Kosovo is also going to apply for NATO partnership, but some countries in NATO don't recognize them, like Romania and Greece, which is going to be kind of bad for them because it will be hard for them to apply for NATO partnership. Now, let's take a look at the next thing that is going to happen in this episode, and that is going to be the Israel-Palestine war. So I didn't cover it in the last episode, but it is happening right now, and I forgot to cover it in the last episode. So sorry about that. But the borders probably look something like, I don't know the borders right now, but let's see, they look something like this. Israel is a strong country, but Palestine is gaining support from many countries. And Israel is gaining support from the US, which is all the way across the world, while Palestine is gaining support from countries near them. I mean, the US is supporting them, but it's not only them, you know, the entirety of NATO. So they could just go from Greece, let's say, and supply Israel, which is, you know, still good for Israel. So now I do not want to offend anybody with this war, so me personally, I'm in favor of I'm not going to say, because I don't want to offend anybody. Actually, I'm not going to say, but I'm just in favor actually of ending all wars. But I can't do anything, I'm just a random kid, so yeah. But let's just continue with the video. So Israel is the stronger country, so they're going to push in and kind of occupy Palestine and win the war. Sorry for the people that support Palestine, I didn't want to offend them. But I'm just going to erase the border over here and done. So as you can see, Israel has annexed Palestine, which is gonna rise tensions in the Middle East. And now the next thing that is going to be happening here is gonna be kind of a big war, I would say. So Ethiopia wants control over the Nile River, which is kind of rising tensions between them and Egypt. So Egypt declares war on Ethiopia, and technically there's no way that they could fight each other instead of navally, but Ethiopia doesn't even have coast, so they can't do that. And Sudan is going to join on the side of Egypt because they have the same problem with Ethiopia. But Ethiopia is gonna get an ally, and that ally is going to be the EAF. So this is actually kind of equal, like two African powers versus another two African powers. It looks kind of unfair when you look at it on the map, but it is kind of fair. You know, I'm not saying that the EAF is weak, but these two countries are super strong. So yeah. Now, Ethiopia and the EAF are going to start pushing in, but it's gonna be very slowly because Egypt and Sudan are strong countries. But I don't want you to like stay here and watch me just drawing really thin lines and talking some random things. So I'm just gonna speed up the war. So Ethiopia and the EAF push in, and eventually Egyptian forces come to the aid of the Sudanese, which will help them pushing back, and they even enter in Ethiopia. So I know that the capital of Ethiopia is about here, AdizzPro, I believe it was its name, and Ethiopia and the capital of the DRC is over here, and this is the EAF, and the DRC is the strongest country in the EAF, so I believe their capital is going to be over here or some random big city in the middle. But let's say their capital is over here. Now, let's get rid of these dots, and the Egyptian troops and the Sudanese troops push in to Ethiopia and push back over here in the eastern fronts. They even push in into the EAF and kind of push back over here. But the EAF is having lots of success over here in the west, which is kind of alarming for the Sudanese because they're losing lots of land over here in the west. The EAF is going to attempt an encirclement, so Ethiopia is going to spearhead from right over here and push back. The EAF and Ethiopians are gonna succeed in this encirclement, while the Sudanese and Egyptians are attacking over here and capturing lands, trying to get to AdizzPro, to AdizzPro. So they get near the city and even break through this encirclement. But the Ethiopians push back up in the north and even push in a lot into Sudan. This is bad for the Sudanese, but they at least have a consolidated front over here. That the only thing that's bad for them over here is that they could really easily get encircled just like this. But that's not gonna happen because they're gonna push back over here. So the Ethiopians are kind of losing ground in their country, but so are the Sudanese. They're like equally losing land right now. So yeah, the Ethiopians are going to continue pushing up north and pushing down here, while the Sudanese are going to push into the EAF where modern day South Sudan is. And they're gonna try and capture the capital of Ethiopia from a different angle. This is also going to be alarming for the Ethiopians, so they're gonna try to knock out this spearhead in an easier way, which is encircling it. So they encircle it and kill all the troops there. And even push back over here in the EAF. Over here in their own country, they push back, but the Sudanese are also going to push back in the north. And in this western front, the EAF is still doing great. The Sudanese aren't protecting it as well as they're protecting this front line over here. This over here, they have like their defenses are mostly like a bit of defenses over here. Then over here it's like this and like this. They're trying to push in, but over here there are less defenses, and that's why they're losing ground while they're pushing in down in the south. Now you might be wondering, why are they leaving the EAF to get all of these lands? That's because they're attempting to encircle them and recapture them. Because it's harder to fight when you're like this. You know, it's harder. From all sides, they could come from anywhere and just wipe you out. That's why. So that's exactly what they're trying to do. And cut all supply lines from the country. Like, their plan was to do something like this, but this front line is getting bigger and it will be harder for them to do it. So their plan now is to just do something like this, while also trying to push in from here to encircle it easier. The Ethiopians are going to push in a bit and call in Eritrea in this war. Now, why is Eritrea in this war? I mean, I believe they're an ally with Ethiopia, but I'm not really sure. I believe that they were once a country like this. Like a country. You know, they were united like this. I'm not sure though. But now they've gotten a better front line like this to push in. And this kind of worries the Sudanese. So they're going to, after this encirclement, if they succeed, they're going to withdraw troops. But if it doesn't work, they don't know what to do. Their plan is to complete this encirclement and then withdraw troops, because less troops versus an encircled blob of troops is going to be, no, it's going to be harder with less troops, but it's going to be encircled, so it's a good idea if it works. So yeah, the Eritreans are pushing in, and the EAF is focusing over here. Well, these two are focusing over here, just so you know. So the EAF is pushing in, and the Sudanese complete their encirclement, while the EAF over here is pushing in and fully re-established Ethiopia. They fully kicked out the Sudanese and Egyptians from the country. Now, as you can see, the EAF could easily just do this and this, and this big blob of Sudanese troops is going to be encircled. But the Sudanese have a plan. they're going to push in from both of these sides like this, so they can save their troops, which is exactly what they do. But while all of that is happening over there, the EAF is pushing up here in the west again. They want to get at least up to this point over here, which is actually super far away when you think about it. Like, from this capital, troops are moving all the way over here to get all the way to here, so which is going to be really hard for them, but they think they can do it. And all of these troops over here that were encircled fall to the Sudanese. So the Sudanese are now starting like a campaign in Ethiopia again, and they're pushing down into South Sudan again. As you can see, these two have been fighting a lot of time by now, but we can see who is doing better easily. I mean, when you look at this map, who do you think would win? I mean, it in the start it was kind of equal, but then Eritrea was like, they're not a strong country, but just the front line over here is going to help the Ethiopians push in a lot. That's why. So they're going to continue to push in, and now they're gonna try to push to here to consolidate at least a front line that looks something like this. So the Sudanese surrender, and then it's just the Egyptians and Egypt versus Ethiopia, the EAF and Eritrea. It's not gonna be a fair fight, so yeah. So the Ethiopians are gonna kind of reorganize their troops and take away some troops from over here and place them over here. That's what they're going to be doing right now. And they're kind of doing great, you know. They push back the Sudanese, and they enter in from everywhere into Sudan. The entire front line is in Sudan right now, and the Ethiopians are just doing great in this war right now. So the EAF wanted to get to here, so they're continuing to push over here in the west and get to there, and they're now starting to kind of bulge in the middle of the country, which is, you know, great for them. They're doing great. And Sudan decides to surrender. I mean, they lost more than half of their country. So now let's take a look at the peace treaty. So here's the peace treaty. As you can see, Ethiopia got a big bite out of Sudan, and Eritrea got a bit, and the EAF got a lot. And as you can see, this is really far away from this. So they're going to change their capital city somewhere over here in the middle of the country, because it makes sense, you know. The country can't be this big in their capital just over here. I mean, Russia, you know them, but they don't really use this land. There aren't really many people past this point, you know, east of this. No, actually east of this, there aren't many people. Well, over here, everywhere there are people, you know. Even over here in the equator, where it's really hot, there are people. So yeah, this is going to be the end of this episode, and hope you liked the video. And bye. So sorry, I know I said bye, but there is something important I need to say about the channel, and that is that my upload schedule is going to be the weekend, like Saturday, Sunday. some of those days and Wednesday. Also, just for you guys to know, the next video is going to be what if civilization started over. There is something that I need to add also, and that is that I'm going to make up for the lost time that I haven't recorded, and I'm gonna upload a bit more. So now actually bye.